Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at a deck list that I saw on another content creator's channel, I should say. And today we're going to take a look at Dragapult with Zoroark, but not Zoroark. I'll probably do that variant another time. But this particular variant plays one of the new Zoroark cards from the black and white set. And honestly, from what I've played so far with this list, runs as smooth as silk, and that's saying something. So as per normal, in the description below, there's going to be the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There'll also be the original video that I found this deck list on. There'll also be the games that we'll play, and the outro and what I think of the deck. Obviously, as I say, my modified list, because I have changed cards from that original list, is available to copy in the description below. If you'd rather use the original, the link to the video that was on it, as I said, is there. So the whole idea, of course, is we are going to be playing Dragapult EX. I do love a bit of Dragapult. I know that probably might come as a bit of a controversial take, but I do like Dragapult. It's definitely a card that, you know, it's everywhere, it feels like, but it's one of those cards that, like, you can play it a lot of ways because of its cheap attack cost and its just versatility of having that Phantom Dive for 200 and then putting 6 damage counters wherever you like. Obviously, I will take a look at Dragadusk at some point. That's a deck list I do want to cover at some point, but I saw this variant and I was like, do I play Dragadusk or do I play this variant first? And I was like, I'm sorry, but this variant just seems fun and seems my sort of thing. So we're going to be playing the new Zoroark from White Flare, which has, well, I'm just going to say right now, whoever designed this card, and I'm not meaning this in a bad way, but whoever designed this card clearly loves GLC, in other words, Gym Leader Challenge, the format. The reason for that is because you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting Might Jack, which obviously does damage based on your opponent's bench Pokemon, and then we get access to Foul Play. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. So what that means is we can copy the likes of Ceruledge with its second attack to obviously knock out Ceruledge. We can copy Gardevoir, and obviously we are Dark type, so we do hit the Dark type weakness and everything, so that's pretty useful. We can copy opposing Phantom Dives, and we can do all sorts of things like that. We can even copy Budew if we're in a tight spot, which I don't think I'm going to waste an Ignition Energy on Foul Play just to do that, but you never know, it could be something. We can also copy Jellicent, but we are 1 energy short off of actually like knocking out a Jellicent. So the only way we'll be able to knock out a Jellicent EX with this card is if we had either Mind Jack, obviously they had 5 benched as well, or if we had 1 energy on this thing already, plus the ignition for the attach, or for the attachment for turn, and then swing into the Jellicent. This Foul Play attack is really good, and genuinely, like, Mind Jack pulls its own weight, but obviously it does fall short of the Gardevoir, but obviously we can use the Ignition Energy in this list to obviously get the Foul Play going and go from there. But honestly, this card is cracked, and when you combine it with Dragapult, it is pretty amazing how good it is. So obviously, I've kept the Cornerstone. I think this is a cheeky tech, and to be honest, I agree with it being in here. We obviously play Luminous Energy anyway. I'm not playing a basic Fighting Energy. I think that's kind of irrelevant. But you could if you wanted to. I mean, it's entirely your choice where you take this deck list after you obviously see it from me. And obviously the link from the video that I saw, obviously, with the original deck list. I've also kept the Hawlucha. Again, this just makes sense because obviously we're using Flying Entry to put some damage on 70 HP Pokemon. And then obviously we can Phantom Dive, take those out, and potentially whatever's in the active. So we do have a lot of versatility there. I've also kept the Bloodmoon. Again, I agree with this inclusion because obviously we are playing what is essentially known as Slowpoke. Now, I have added, I believe, 1 Rare Candy, if memory serves. I'll double check the deck list, but to be honest, I think you could cut that. This list has ran so well in testing so far, with Quad Lilies and stuff like that. This list is running like a trooper, but Bloodmoon's obviously here in case we need him in the late game. The original list did play a Latias, which, you know, that's nice, but I don't think I need to play a Latias in here. So I've cut the Latias, and we're still keeping the 3-2 line of the Zoroark. The Zorua, with its takedown attack, can also deal with Budew, so we do have a lot of versatility in here. The original list as well was playing 2 Budew. I cut it down to 1. I never normally use Budew, and if I do, it's only because my hand is dead, so yeah. A lot of the time I want to try and force a good game at the opponent. I don't want to keep him by an item lock for too long, but hopefully we can get some good games out of this. But first of all, let's go to the deck list and let's have a look. And welcome to the deck list. So like I said, I've not changed a huge amount, but I've changed enough to the point where like I sort of made it my own in a way. Obviously this isn't my original list, so that's why the title is showcasing a deck list from another channel, because technically it is, but obviously I've made it my own because I don't want it to seem like I've nicked the list and then said, oh yeah, this is my version and this is better because I did the list originally. No, I'm not going to do that. So obviously we are playing the traditional Pult, shall we say, strategy. So obviously we've got the Hawlucha and everything like that, decent gust count and everything. But obviously we're going to play in the 4-4-2 line of the Pult because, again, I don't think this card is needed in here, but I'm just putting it in as an emergency, so Rare Candy New Upper can always be a thing, but don't think it needs to happen in this list personally. Then of course we're playing 3 Zorua and 2 Zoroark. Obviously the Zoroark is a cracked card, and to be honest, it kind of makes sense in this list. Then we're playing 1 Budew, 1 Munkidori, because obviously we are playing 3 Luminous, we can make this work. Again, as I said with the Cornerstone, where you could put a basic fighting in here, but I don't see the point. You could play a basic dark in here, but again, I don't see the point. Whilst it would help set up your Zoroarks easier, we don't play an Earthen Vessel in this list, which that is another card to consider. Probably cut Hilda for that, but again, I think you don't want to lean too much into like playing all these different tech energies and stuff like that, like a fighting for Cornerstone, a dark for Munkidori. I am playing a basic fire, which the original list was not. This is just another way to get an energy onto the board, because obviously we do play a decent count of ignition, and just having a fire energy in the list makes more sense than what you might think. But I wanted to play an extra energy card, because, you know, the original list is playing 3 ignition, 3 luminous, 2 psychic, and a neo upper, and I don't want to put too much pressure on our luminouses, so I thought, well, playing a basic fire just makes sense, but again, a basic dark could be considered in this list. Then of course playing 1 Fez, 1 Hawlucha, 1 Bloodmoon Ursaluna, and 1 Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. Obviously Cornerstone does have less usability now because most of the Megas are not bothered by this, but it's just a good card to have in the meta right now, and it makes complete sense. So then we're playing 4 Lillies, 3 Iono, 2 Boss, 2 Hilda. I've added in a Turo because we can Turo the Hawlucha, Turo anything that's heavily damaged, stuff like that. 4 Buddy Poffin, 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Counter Catcher, 2 Night Stretcher, 1 Rare Candy, which I think you can probably cut this card, 1 Super Rod, 1 Nest Ball, 2 Jamming Tower instead of 1 from the original list, 3 Ignition Energy, this is obviously for the Zoroarks, and, well, it's an attached retreat if it ever comes to it, I guess. 3 copies of Luminous, 2 copies of Psychic, 1 copy of New Upper as our ace spec, obviously we want to get Dragapult swinging, and then, as I said earlier, the 1 copy of basic fire energy. This list has run like absolute butter in testing, as in butter spreading on toast. It's that smooth. And I know some of you watch the channel not from Britain, but if you ever go to Tesco and get the salted butter, spread it on toast, that just feels like this list at the minute, genuinely. And honestly, this deck is definitely something to keep an eye out for. Like, I don't think it's as good as Drag of Dusk, because obviously Drag of Dusk can enable Dragapult to obviously do a lot more, shall we say, problematic damage. But at the same time, this just has so much more versatility than what you might think. And honestly, I think this is a list to watch out for. So, let's get into some games and see how we do with it. And welcome to the first game. We've actually paired to someone that is pretty much our rank, so they must be playing a pretty good deck, I'd imagine. The ladder's got about 2 weeks left, I think, until it resets. I've not been playing the ladder too much, because obviously I did get annoyed at PTCG Live, but, well, I think we all get annoyed at PTCG Live, as you would have seen in the Conkelda video the other day. But yeah, so far this list has felt really, really smooth. And it also gives Dragapult a really good single prize attacker, which is versatile. Obviously, we'll be taking a look at the Zoroark version, which, you know, that has its plus merits and everything. Obviously, that plays Dark Energy, basic Dark Energy, that is. But yeah, we will take a look at that at some point in the future, but it's not on my high priority list. Let's go first. So far, this list is handled going first pretty smoothly, but I know what PTCG Live is like. So let's see what happens. Okay, Zorua start's not bad, although I'd rather start the Cornerstone, I'll be honest. But at the same time, Zorua's better because we can potentially get stuff going. What are we facing? This is Alakazam. Ooh, this is a good matchup for us. This is a pretty good matchup for us. Because we're going first, we can obviously use that Rare Candy potentially. That's not bad at all. This is not a bad matchup for us. There's Ignition. That's not bad. Let's go for a Buddy Poffin. We can threaten the Budew, and to be honest, it's definitely tempting, but I'm just going to get some Dreepies down. Nest Ball, we can grab... I could grab another Zorua as a single price threat, and I think I will, just because it's versatile and it gets the job done. I'll attach a basic Psychic Energy to one of the Dreepies. Cornerstone is useless in this matchup because, as I've said previously, if you are using a Cornerstone, Alakazam goes through it because it's prevent all damage from attacks and not effective attacks. So, for example, you can hit a Cornerstone with a Munkidori. It won't take damage from the Munkidori, but Cornerstone will still be confused. So that's just something to bear in mind. Obviously, we can let them go a little bit ahead. It's not a major deal, but obviously if we can get swinging with Zoroark early, that could potentially be something we can do. Because we can attach Luminous and then start using Mind Jack. And speaking of Jack, there's a Jack, but not spelt how the actual deck is and everything. We do play a decent count of Iono, so that's another thing we have in this matchup. Academy at Night, I suspect that is to put the Jack on top. Which, you know, that's pretty smart. I agree with that play. This is definitely a stadium I might play in my Alakazam list. So we would definitely want to get another Zorua down. The Zoroarks is going to be critical in this matchup. I'll grab a Dreepy as well. I can attach a Treat, but I don't think it's worth it. So there's that. I can Ultra Ball away the Stone and one of the Lillies. And we can grab ourselves a Drakloak. Because then I can evolve to Drakloak, attach here, and then go from there. Although, it is tempting. I mean, I can save this Academy at Night. Well, I can save this Ignition. I mean, to be fair, it's going to be attached anyway, so we'll just Lillies. We'll just Lillies, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. There's Budew, but we're not going to use him. We can take down, but that just feels bad. So I'll attach to the Dreepy. Split our energies up a bit. And then Recon. Get the Jamming Tower. That's going to be useful later. I don't need to Academy at Night. Like, there's nothing really for me to do here. So I will just pass. There's no point us going Ultra Ball for Zoroark and then evolving to Zoroark. Because as we saw there, we whiffed. So, you know, we don't need to worry about this too much. If we can get a Pult going, plus an Iono, that'd be pretty good. Obviously, they're going to be drawing cards, and like I say, I suspect they're going to be putting... well, they must have put one of the Kadabras at the top of the deck, I reckon. And there's another Psychic Draw. Obviously, we do have options in this matchup. Like, we can obviously do single prizes with the Zorua and Zoroarks. But, you know, I'd rather try and take out multiple Kadabras and Abras and stuff like that. The fact that they've managed to get going so quickly is quite concerning, but we can live with it. Well, it's not the end of the world. There's another done. That's fine. Like I say, in an ideal world, I kind of want them to hit our Dragapult and not knock it out. Redeemable ticket. Something tells me something's in... The thing they just put on top of the deck and then put into the prize cards is something they don't want in the prize cards. Well, they want in the prize cards. To protect it, maybe. Maybe there's a tech in this deck that I don't know about. We can Hilda for a Luminous and a Zoroark now, but I'd probably grab a Drakloak, to be honest. We can, of course, start Phantom Diving. That is definitely an option. And, like, we can Hand Disrupt eventually, but... still. Okay, there's an Ultra Ball. That's pretty good. I just caught my mouse then. So, Ultra Ball, Budew, and Dreepy. We can grab ourselves another Drakloak. Do that. We can then Recon. There's Neo Upper. That's pretty useful. Because we don't need to attack with two prizes. That's the thing about this matchup. We'll take the Iono. We don't need to play it now, though. So I think we'll Hilda for a Zoroark and a Luminous. Because then we can evolve into the Zoroark, attach a Luminous energy, bump their stadium, and Mind Jack. Down goes the done. And we're a single prize board state. That's what we want. There's a Hilda. Nice. Like I said, we're not in a rush to get this pult going. That's the nice thing. We're not in a complete rush. We can go single prize for single prize if we need to. Obviously, in the later game stages, it does get pretty tricky because obviously we're not playing basic dark energy, which, as I said in the deck list, this is definitely a consideration. Like, we have the option of doing that. They can just take out the Zoroark here, but then they don't have any energy down, or EXP share down, sorry. And even then, Jamming Tower shuts that off, so even if they do play EXP share, it won't come into effect unless they can bounce the tower. But we could Hilda for a pult and just start racking up, potentially. I don't mind them taking out the Zoroark here. Miriam, okay, interesting tech card. So, I don't think we've ever seen this card on the channel, but essentially shuffle up to 5 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. If you shuffle any cards in this deck, or into your deck this way, draw 3. It's not a bad card, actually. It's pretty good. But the nice thing is, as well, they've not got any guns down, so we can go for an Iono here. There's the Mind Bend. Powerful Hand. Close enough. So we'll promote your Cloak. And draw for turn. There's Candy, which we don't need. There's Hawlucha. That could be useful later. Recon. There's Fez. Fez doesn't help us right now, though. I'll take the Counter Catcher. I do want to Iono their hand, but I have to play the Hilda here. Because otherwise we whiff the attack. We can take the basic Fire. We can save the Luminous for later. So then we go Evolve, Attach, or Lucha. We will ping a damage onto the Abra and the Kadabra. Sounds like I'm saying something out of Harry Potter there. And then Phantom Dive, take the knockout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can put the other one here. That's a 2-prize turn there. They can come back at us with a 2-prizer, but then again, we can use the Zoruas and the Zoroark. So we are in a pretty good state here. And there's Zoroark. That is pretty good. Because now we have the option to use Zoroark later in the game. So we do have a lot going for us right now. There's the Alakazam. So they have the knockout on the Dragapult if they can find basic Psychic Energy. But then afterwards, they don't have a whole lot going for them. And also, we can recycle our basic Fire Energy, so that's something to consider. Whereas the previous list, as I pointed out, only plays Luminous and Psychic. This plays a Fire, or my list plays a Fire. So we have that option where required. We can also use Neo Upper as well. Because we can promote this Dreepy, Night Stretcher the Pult, and then Neo Upper, shuffle the Fire and the Psychic back in. We have a lot of lines here, and then we can Iono. There's Tulip. Put up to 4 in any combination of Psychic Pokemon and Basic Energy cards into your hand. So they do have the attachment here. And they can even evolve this into an Alakazam as well. But no, I think the play here is to just cause this guy some serious terror. Because he can't heal this, he has to... There we go. He's just evolved it. Psychic Draw again. But with barely any Dunsparces down, this is going to get rough for my opponent. There's our Stadium Bump, that's fine. Oh, please do bench that. Because I can Phantom Dive this, put that, and go from there. We have this in the bag, I'm pretty certain. But I don't want to sound like I'm being egotistical, like, we could still lose this. There's definitely a world in which we lose this. But no, he's got 18 cards in hand, so he has the knockout on the port, but that is completely fine. Candy at night, that's probably going to be for a supporter. So Iono may not stick him as much as we think it will. But no, I like this tech. I like this tech. That's really good. So he goes down to 3. That's completely fine. Selecting an option. Oh, you lucky sod! He's played the Chansey. Okay. That's sneaky. I did not expect that. Well, it didn't help him, but still. So, we can Night Stretcher back that Pult. Rare Candy into Pult. Attach the Neo Upper. Evolve the Zoroark here. Super Rod back. Dreepy, Drakloak. And, I mean, do we need these guys? I don't think so. So I'm just going to do that. I can pull back the Budew, I guess. That can be a late game option. I'll recon after Iono. So let's Iono. That's our first Iono at a game as well. There's another Jamming Tower. Excellent. So we can do that. Then recon. Buddy Poffin does help us. So we'll do that. We can grab the Budew. But actually, no. Just, then again, they don't really play anything else. So I'm going to leave the Budew. I'm just going to thin that card out. So then we will Phantom Dive, take out the Alakazam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put 1 there. That's another 2 prize turn. Excellent. We could have put the Fez down. Wouldn't have been a bad idea, but with that off the prizes, we win. They cannot hand disrupt us. Yeah, I had a feeling they put a supporter at the top of their deck. So no, they need to hope we whiff Dragapult plus Fire Energy / Psychic Energy, but no, we don't. We have this in the bag. To be honest, that's also why I should have prize checked, because I didn't even know there was a port in the prizes, but either way, we was able to recycle the 1 port we did have. Right away, draw into the Zam. So they needed another 7 cards in hand, but they'll need 8 because they need to draw into a Psychic Energy. But yeah, that is a sneaky tech. I do like that. Oh, they're hoping I don't have an energy, I guess. Which, considering I played the Super Rod earlier, that's a bad mistake to make. I think they're just hoping I don't have it, but unfortunately, mate, I'm sorry. But I do. We attach, we retreat, into the Pult. Not going to waste this guy's time, and yeah, he's just conceded. Understandable, my friend. That went pretty smooth against Alakazam. Like, having the single prize option in the beginning was definitely something that helped. But getting the multi-prize turns with Pult, definitely what helped us out there. Let's go to a game 2. I think my comment about this deck running like butter really does, well, the Tesco branded butter really does make sense, because this deck runs like a trooper. Like, I'm not normally a fan of slow Pult, but this list feels supreme with how nice it is. Looks like our opponent got the coin flip. That's unfortunate, but not a big deal. But yeah, this list feels so good. Like, since adding the basic fire and obviously the other things that I've added, the second tower for one thing, it just feels so smooth, genuinely. Really excited that this list is working. And we're going first, so I'll just bring the Budew up. 3 Pokemon already down on the bench. What are we facing? Ah, this could be tough. This is Bolt. Okay, it's not the end of the world. So we can Nest Ball for Dreepy. Does Zoroark actually hit enough in this matchup? It could. Zoroark could. If they put down Area 0 and put 8 down, we could knock out a Bolt with Mind Jack. We definitely could. We can also, oh, hold on, 210, so 30, 69, 120, 150, 180. We can actually knock out a Teal Mask with Foul Play. That's not bad at all, actually. There's the fan. That's fine. Earthen Vessel. Get rid of Slitherwing. You're probably going to need that in this matchup, mate. I'll be honest. Lightning under Fighting. That's completely fine. You can attach to the bolt. And don't burst roar, because I saw you had 2 Noctowns in hand. There's a Fez. And that's just a pass. That is completely fine with me. Obviously, Bloodmoon's going to be key in this matchup, so we need to make sure of that. We're just Lilies. There's one of our Zoruas. We can Ultra Ball away. I don't want to get rid of this Rod. I'm going to get rid of the Fire and one of the Zoroarks. We can always put this back. It's not a big deal. Yeah, we've got the other one in there, so that's fine. Do that. Recon. There's Candy, but I'd rather take the Lilies, I'll be honest. And Itchy Pollen. So no Prime Catcher shenanigans. They have to use Boss, but they want to Sada. That does actually matter in this context. I mean, they can, like I say, if they bench enough Pokemon, we can use Mind Jack to, not Mind Jack, Foul Play to take out a Bolt, potentially. The 10 damage here doesn't really do anything for us. All it does is just disrupts our opponent from playing item cards. But obviously they can play stadiums and supporters and tools where required. But yeah, this list feels really good. Sardo and a Crispin. I mean, you're going to be playing one or the other, my friend. They've also got the 80 HP Hoot Hoot, so this is a tech card for us. Because for those of you that may remember from me talking about Terrabox a while ago, I play an 80 HP, as do most people, because of the Dragapult 6 damage. But yeah, that means no support for turn. Well, no items for turn, which is good for us. We could potentially do something here. There's another Fighting. I don't know why they're attaching for turn, though. Odd. And just a knockout for 70. Okay. Because obviously we can't copy Bolt's attack, and even if we could, that'd be stupid. So let's promote the Zorua. There's another Dreepy. That's pretty good. I'm tempted to attach here, but I don't think it's wise. I could Super Rod these 3 back in. The Badoo's not going to matter. It's extra discard fodder later. I'll Recon now, because obviously we're getting 8 anyway. And there's a Zoroark. That's pretty good. So like I said, I can't copy Bellowing Thunder. I can hit it, though, for a decent number of damage. 150, 160, goes up to 160. Is it worth it? I mean, does the math line up? Because we're in a one-shot matchup. I'm just going to do it anyway, because, you know, it's for the content, I guess. Then we'll Lilies. There's a counter catcher though. That could matter. Both these guys could matter. But then again, it does mean they're using resources. We can take this out of a pull and start setting up his board. We'll take the Bloodmoon. Bloodmoon's not going to matter now, but that's fine. We could also CC the Hoot Hoot, but I think getting damage on this bolt is going to be more important. So yeah, I'm just going to Mind Jack for 150, hit the bolt. I nearly said Polt then. It's like my tongue mid-sentence was like Polt and Bolt, and it was like Polt or something like that, but no. I think hitting the bolt now is correct. I think. Because like I say, we can Ultra Ball for Hawlucha, 10-10, hit the bolt. Well, we can actually put a 10 on the fan rotom and take a 3-price turn. So we have options here. Edge Retrieval, Area 0 under depths. Probably did that turn a bit wrong. Like, I think we should have gone for the Fez or the Teal Mask. We could have CC'd the Teal Mask and put Ignition on and knocked this out. We could have done that, but I think personally it's just better for us to be in this situation. Because like I said, we can take a 3-prize turn now. We can then go back to single prize attacking. They'll go down to 2. We'll go down to 3. We can then hit with a single prize on something like, I don't know, Noctowl or something. And go from there, really. Like, we do have these options. Prime Catcher, doesn't really matter which one he brings up, because I have no upper hand. He's bringing up a fresh Bolt. That's concerning, but we do have Prime Catcher, so it's not the end of the world. We could actually, hold on. Sorry if you heard like a slight bang then, I've got my phone on my desk. What could we do? We're at 180. We could actually see this and go down to 2. We could go down to 4 and then we can Hawlucha now. Okay, that's fine. We'll Ultra Ball away one of you and a Psychic. Grab the Lucha now, because this makes our math easier late game. So we do that. We'll put 10 on you and 10 on you. I'll then CC this after I've Drakloaked. We definitely do have some options in this matchup. Obviously, we don't want to Jamming Tower. Well, then again, does it matter? Not particularly. I mean, we hit the numbers anyway. We're doing 150. This is just extra disruption for the opponent. Then again, they can discard the fan or the Teal Mask, so this is technically a misplay. But it does bounce their stadium, I guess. If they get rid of the fan, it's not the end of the world, but it could make our prize map a little bit problematic. This could be a misplay. Okay, they got rid of the fan. That's completely fine. It's not the end of the world. So, because like I say, we're taking a single prize knockout now, so that's our benefit. We'll take the Night Stretcher. We've not attached a turn yet, which is good. So we can grab... Sorry if you heard any motorcycles then. There's some... Let's put it this way, they're not the most nice bunch. I've already reported them to the police, but the police here are about as useful as tits on a Borog. I can Lillies, I think. Is Lillies fine here? Because like I said, we've got these in hand. I think it's fine to Lillies here and get 6. Or 8, sorry. Yeah, I think that was worth it. Because I could put a Luminous here. We can Drakloak again. Candy or Zorua. I'll take Candy, because that could matter, potentially. And yeah, we'll just Mind Jet for 150. Take out the Raging Bolt. Definitely was a missed sequence putting the Jamming Tower, and I know someone's probably going to point that out in the comments, but don't worry, I've already addressed that elephant in the room. And well, in this case, we're addressing the giraffe in the room, but you get my point. They definitely should have gotten rid of the Teal Mask, though. The Teal Mask is definitely the more important target here. For me, anyway, because obviously this cuts his draw. The Fan Rotom is irrelevant. There's another Bolt. So what we can do this turn is we can dig with our Drakloaks to get Counter Catcher. We can CC the... because we've got... we have to boss this turn. We've used our Counter Catchers. Well, we discarded one. So we can boss this. Do that, and then put some damage across the board, so then we just need to bear the game. Because the thing is, I've not seen a Bravery Charm. And that's my thought process. I've not seen a Bravery Charm. So let's see what happens here. Because we can't Hilda, because we need to boss this turn. Let's see what they do. And Bellowing Thunder. Discard 2. Probably off the Bolt, I'll be honest. No, one off of each. They're playing around the Mind Jack, but that's fine. We'll promote, because I've got a Psych in the bin, so we can use that to Cloak. We need to find Boss this turn. Iono doesn't do it. So we need to find Boss this turn. There's Polt, so that saves me using a Night Stretcher, I guess. But then again, I need to use that anyway for the Psychic. There's another Jamming Tower and a Zoroark. We'll take that. I'm going to have to put the Fez down, but it's not a big deal. There's new upper. That's fine. I'm going to have to put the Fez down because we need to find Boss. And we whiff the Boss. That is unfortunate. How bad does that affect us right now? Then again, have I got a Drakloak in here? Yes, I do. I can actually do that, then I run the risk of... Yeah, I'm just going to take a risk. We'll just grab the Drakloak. Do that. With all this draw, and we still haven't found a boss. The Turo, that does nothing for us. Let me think. They've got a lot of energy in the discard, but that doesn't make a difference. Because we can't CC and boss in the same... Well, we can't Iono and boss in the same turn. It's bad. Try not to slow play here, but I've really got to think. Let's Ultra Ball these two away, just to give us a bit more time. How did we whiff boss? See, we've got a boss in there. It's crazy, man. I could take another bolt, I guess. But all they need is just to destroy us. Is, you know, then again, hitting them with Pult here could actually make sense. It does actually make sense to hit them with Pult. So, we'll evolve the fresh one, because I can use New Upper here. Then retreat into that. New Upper. Because what I can do is, I can Phantom Dive this, and then put 4 here, 1 here, and then one on the Noctowers, I guess. That does mean we get to Iono for turn. So I'm going to do that. Sorry if I took a bit long there, and I'm sorry to my opponent that I took a bit of time there. You could see that as, like, slow playing, and I do apologise for that, but I did really have to think there. So we'll Phantom Dive, 200... 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1. Doesn't matter where the last one goes. Because if we can find boss after Iono it, bear in mind we'd shuffle into that, shall we say, situation. We could be okay here. We could go for a 4-price turn for finishing the game off. We could be okay here. Because they don't have a way to... Unless they play a picnic basket, which I very much doubt... We could be in the driver's seat here, but again, let's not jump to conclusions. Because we're down 3 Luminous, this is our last way to get an energy on this Dragapult. And that's why I'm playing the basic fire. Because I didn't want to like put Neo plus Luminous on a Pult, because then that just gives more reasoning. Obviously we can't get back the Luminous, but that's why I'm playing the basic fire. Ultra Ball... To my Ogerpon an energy switch. They may not have a Sada. There's Noctowl, but you don't have any Owls remaining on board. Oh, they're Burst Roaring. This could be key. We could win this turn. We could win this turn. We've got top deck plus Drakloak draw. We just need that boss. That's not it. We don't have to win this turn, though. Recon. There's the boss. That's game. I thought that matchup was going to be messy. Let's rub his nose in it with the Teal Mask. Phantom Dive for knockout. We'll just put it all on the bowl. It doesn't matter. We're taking a 4-price turn. That was messy, but... Well, Zoroark definitely helped with our prizing there. And yeah, there's one of my bosses off the prizes. Oh, sorry to my opponent for seeming like I'm slow playing there. Not intentional, I just had to think about that turn. I don't play Pult as much as you might think, so I do apologise to Gengar327. I did take the piss there, and there's no denying that. But yeah, I do apologise for that. And we do get to Arceus League because of this deck, which means I can claim my rewards I've been waiting to get. Let's see what we actually get. I'm not going to sit through it all. Latias, yeah, that's not bad. And some good credits, including the Pure Power Pro. I do like this Acer Roller's Mischief as well. But yeah, finally got to Arceus League after all that shenanigans and everything. But yeah, that was really good. Like that just proves the power of this deck. Having this as a single prizer just perfectly showcases my point. I don't think, like, I definitely made some misplays in that second game, but like, I do think this is a really good consideration for Dragapult. But obviously, as I said, well, as I've established earlier, basic Dark Energy would not be a bad idea. Maybe a 4th Luminous, actually, thinking about it. That'd probably be better, because then it works with Pult. But again, it's just finding a room. But other than that, I think the counts are solid. Like, you could cut the Rare Candy for a 4th Luminous, but then you're playing 11 energy, which is quite a lot. But genuinely, this list felt really good to play. Yes, I made a bit of, you know, like, I was BMing. Well, I say BMing, it wasn't. Obviously, I was trying to dig for boss, and that's what made my turn, or the second turn before the end, a little bit longer. So, like I said, I do apologize for my opponent. I didn't mean to slow play there. But genuinely, like, this list has so much going for it compared to a regular Pult list. Obviously, Dragon Dusk, I think, is better still. I'm going to say that right now. Dragon Dusk, I think, is better. But the fact that we have a single prizer that can trade up into God of War, Bolt, when obviously they don't play around it and everything, is just so good and gives Dragapult the option that it never really had before. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing Dragapult Zoroark in action, and I'll see you next time.